probably the softest song that we studied. Now let's go to another piece, and his name, composer, his name was Glinka. And this is the one that we talked about, the opera. And the story was about a couple who had just gotten married, and someone came and sang and said, this is the fortune of your marriage, whether you are going to be live happily ever after or not. And the person sang and said, not so much. And this is where everyone fell asleep, and then a spell came over the whole entire ceremony and the whole entire party, and everyone fell asleep. So it took the bride, and the groom had to go out and find her, where he ran into a wizard, and the wizard got all of his powers from his beard. Long story short, met a friend. He and the friend wound up cutting off the beard of the wizard, which had the spell of the sleeping bride. And when they cut off the beard from the wizard who had all the power, then the bride woke up, and then they could find the bride, and yay, they lived happily ever after. So that was the story of the opera, and this is Glinka's piece that he composed for that. So we're going to listen to that. Then we are going to look at a different piece, and this is a piece that you guys actually know that we learned the words to, which is North Carolina products. The products of our state, excuse me. So I'm going to go over and play the main melody on my clarinet. That is the piece that we learned that we sang at the academic assembly, and it was to the tune of one of our folk song tunes, and when she's coming around the mountain, and we learned all the words to it and talked about how the products that we sing about in this song are products that we actually produce here in North Carolina. Now, I saved one more piece for you that we are going to hear at the symphony. And it's by one of my favorite composers. His name is Rimsky-Korsakov, and he composed a piece that was called The Flight of the Bumblebee. Now, I do not have the music for it because it is at school and we had snow and I could not get to it, but I remember some of it. So I'm going to play as much of the piece as I remember, and you can hear how the piece sounds like a real bumblebee. Part of the piece, The Flight of the Bumblebee, that we will hear the entire orchestra play together when we go to see the symphony. So now you are all ready to go to the symphony. You know how to act, you know what to wear, you have an idea of what you would do and how you would act if you were at home watching a movie, which we are not, or if you were at a sports game, which we are not, if we were at a fancy restaurant, pretty close, but we won't have any food. But we are at the North Carolina Symphony. So, I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday, and I can't wait to see how gorgeous you guys will look and how excited you will be to hear and to see all these different instruments and meet the conductor.